Hey, Wonderhussy here. I just rolled into my favorite campsite in the middle of nowhere, and it's time to fire up my stove and cook some dinner. But golly, I have 3 friggin' cans of fuel here that I'm trying to figure out. This one has just a little bit left in it. This one's kind of half full. Like, I don't really want to use the half one until the... Oh, but this one has barely any in it. Ugh, what a hassle. Well, fortunately, there's a solution. When I hit 100,000 subscribers, one of my friends gave me this awesome gift that I had on my Amazon wish list called a Biolite camp stove. And when you have one of these, you never have to mess with fuel canisters ever again. Check this out. This thing is actually super badass. And before I even start this video, I'm just going to say that I'm not being sponsored in any way by this product. One of my friends just bought me this stove as a gift. I just really legitimately like it. And hey, when I find a product that I really like to share it with you. So it comes in this little bag. And basically what it is it's a little camp stove with a battery pack that you can attach. And I don't understand the technology behind it, but basically you build a tiny little fire inside this chamber, and there's a fan. When you push this button here, not sure you can hear that. It's got 3 levels, but basically it gets the air circulating in the chamber somehow that it starts the fire really fast and creates extra hot heat, I guess. And you can boil a pot of water in next to no time with barely any fuel whatsoever. And when I say fuel, of course, I'm not referring to propane or butane or any mixture thereof. I'm talking about biomass. I think that's why the stove is called a Biolite, because, well, I guess it's light and it lights up, and you can also plug a little LED light into it. It powers a light. But it's powered with biomass, aka, well, wood, but you don't need logs or even big sticks like you would for a regular campfire. You literally just need tiny little twigs. So even when I'm camping on a dry friggin' lake bed like this, where there's not a tree in sight, well, I don't have to worry about it. As long as there's a few little bushes with some kind of little branches that I can scrounge around and pick up a few, like I already have staged here, hey, it's no problem. And I'll show you. It's actually not that difficult. Okay, so when you're ready for your little campfire, ready for dinner, you basically, this thing has 3 legs on the bottom that fold out. 1, 2, 3. Like a little 3-legged stool. Sits down there. And I guess if it's a windy day, you're supposed to point it so that the wind is blowing the flame away from the battery pack so it doesn't get too hot. But anyway, you should first remove any stored items from within the chamber of the stove. When they give you the stove, it actually comes with some little fire starter bricks, but I'm saving those for an emergency. You know me, I'm broke, aka cheap. So I'm saving those fire starting bricks for when I really, really need them. I'm just gonna use a few little scraps of paper that I happen to have in my car, and I've been collecting some old dryer lint for my dryer at home, my clothes dryer, and this stuff will start a fire really well. Now, like I said, it's not windy out today, but if it was, I'd put like a little shield around it, because you are going to have an open flame in this chamber, and, well, you wouldn't want a spark to catch any of these purty little bushes, now would you? But since it's not windy at all, it's actually really nice and still, I'm just going to do away with that and get my fire started. Okay, so before we even turn the fan on, we're going to start out by, well, I'm going to crumple a little bit of paper in the bottom of the chamber there. And I'll take a wad of dryer lint out for good measure. This stuff is a serious fire hazard when you leave it in your lint collector at home. So it's good to clean out your dryer anyways, and it does double duty by helping you start your campfire. Okay, and then I'll take some of these little tiny baby twigs that I collected, and I'll throw a few of those in there on top just to get started. You know, like your classic teepee type thing when you're a Boy Scout. Or a Girl Scout. I don't even know if they teach the Girl Scouts anything useful like that, like how to make a fire, but if they do. Okay, now this thing should be ready to light. Look, there goes that dryer lint. Wow. I remember when I was a little girl, our house caught on fire. Remember that Peggy Lee song? I think if you turn this fan on, that actually helps it. I think that actually helps circulate the air somehow and get the fire going. Okay, so now we got some flames, so I'm just gonna start stoking her up. Bunch of little twiggies. The idea is you wanna get an actual fire burning in here. So you wanna have enough fuel collected beforehand to really get it going. Because if you have to keep running over and getting more sticks, then it might go out, you know? So you know me, I'm a Virgo, I thought ahead. Uh oh, it's kind of smoky. Sometimes when it gets smoky like that, you gotta blow on it just to get it going. Okay, I think this fire is actually going pretty good right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get my pot of water to boil. Put a few more pieces in. That's a downside to this thing. I mean, there's actually a few downsides and I'll discuss them all. But one of the major ones is it does take a little bit of tending. So, you know, like I said, you wanna have plenty of wood staged and ready. It can also get kind of smoky. This is only, I think, the 3rd time I've used this stove, so I don't even have much practice with it. So, hey, if even a beginner like me can do it, a caveman could probably manage it. Okay, let's get some water. Oh, that's one of the other downsides is it gets your pot real sooty because you're going to set that right on top of the flame to heat up the water. I don't actually need a full pot of water because I'm just making boil in the bag food, so it only needs to be like a 1/3 full. I think I put too much in as it is. Okay, yeah, now you just literally set it right on top of the flames there and wait for it to start boiling. Let's see what time it is. 7:29. Okay, let's see how long it takes to get this water boiling. I mean, obviously we just put it on there, so there's nothing happening yet, but I'm gonna put some more wood in because like I said, you gotta keep this little guy constantly stoked. You know what I mean? Like, well, it's still going pretty good, but I think you're only supposed to fill the chamber no more than 2/3 of the way full. 3/4 maybe? Gosh, I don't even know. You think I would have read the manual before I made this video, but... Well, you know how I roll. Always by the seat of my pants. Okay, apologies if I look like Alice in Wonderland, like crunched into that tiny little house, but it's hard to get all this on camera because the stove sits so low to the ground. And, well, I suppose that might be considered another liability. Also, you know, you'd have to be careful not to catch anything on the ground below on fire. But look, water's already boiling and it's 7:33. Not bad at all. Okay, now I might as well put my food in. So, well, guess what? Shocker. Tonight I'm having boil in the bag Indian food as usual. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking, especially while camping. So I've been trying to eat healthier when I'm out in the boonies. So I got this brown rice with lentils that you just drop right into the water. And then I'm gonna pair it with some spicy Indian jodhpur lentils. Put that in the pot right next to the rice. Yeah, I know, I need a bigger pot. Okay, so the idea is this water is gonna boil. I guess putting the bags in cooled it down. But the water's gonna boil, and I think they're supposed to boil for 5 minutes. And then they'll be hot enough to eat. So, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that water to boil, I'm gonna check the chamber again. Because look at that, man. The wood's already burned down. Add some more fuel. It goes pretty quick. That's what I mean. Like, it does need kind of constant tending. But I kind of feel like the more you do it, the more you get the hang of it. And once you do get the hang of it, the price and the convenience of not having to keep buying fuel canisters outweighs the inconvenience of having to constantly stoke it with wood. I think if you turn the fan up a level, it might actually circulate the fan faster and help it somehow. Again, I should have read the manual. Come on, guys. I mean, the idea is it should be so hot in the chamber that new wood will just go up right away, but I don't know. There we go. We're back in business. Okay, put this pot back on there. And then once I notice that the water's boiling, I'll just look at my watch and wait 5 minutes and it'll be ready. But you can see here how the pot gets so friggin' sooty and dirty. So that is a pretty sizable liability. In fact, my hands got kind of sooty just handling the stove. So cleanliness is not one of its finer points. But check this out. This thing will actually charge up, this battery pack. It charges up from the heat enough to where there's a little USB port in there and you can actually charge your devices from the energy you're generating using this biomass. You can boil water and charge this battery up at the same time. Now, I should note that I've actually never used the battery to charge anything, so I can't speak to the efficacy of it. But, oh, hey, look, the water is already boiling again. And in fact, I thought I put too much in there. And I don't want it to bubble over the top because then it'll put the friggin' fire out. So let me dump some out. Just a little bit. Put her back on there. Whew. Okay, and then while that's cooking, I'm going to prep the rest of my dinner. Because it's a vegetarian meal of just rice and lentils, I'm going to actually add some cashews. Salted with sea salt. Put those in my bowl first, so that way when I dump the hot food on it, it'll kind of like, well, it sort of cooks or steams the cashews. Not too many. Don't want to get a lard ass. Oh, that is definitely boiling, and I forgot to check the time. Let's see. 7:38. Okay, so by 7:43, these things will be good to go. Uh-oh, dang it. Time for more biomass again already. Oh, I'm getting low. Might have to go scrounge some more. The nice thing about these boil-in-the-bag meals, though, is as long as the water's hot that it's sitting in, it doesn't technically have to be boiling. It'll still heat up. Oh, it's still boiling. Oh, I still got plenty of fuel in there. All right, well, that's heating up. I'll just take a quick little stroll around and show you guys where I'm camped. I'm on this amazing, beautiful, dry lake bed. Totally still except for the whine of my Biolite fan. But it's an amazing place to camp. Well, plenty of flat ground. Plenty of biomass to start my little stove up. And, well, nobody around for miles and miles and miles. And there's 4G cell signal with Verizon. This is like the third time I've camped here and I really like it. One of my favorites. There's a hot spring right across the way too, which is an added bonus. Okay, I think I better go make my dinner now. The sun's going down. Okie dokie. Looks hot to me. Oh, it's still boiling. Yikes. Okay, well. Okay, got my nuts ready here. Just gonna take out the rice first. This meal is so easy to cook. All I gotta do is rip open the bag and dump her in. And my lentils next. Same deal. Now, apologies, these lentils do kind of look like, well, I won't say. But they're yummy and they're really nutritious. All right, let me just stir it up. Make it look a little bit less like a, well, you know what. Okay, now I'm almost ready to sit down and enjoy my dinner, but there's the little matter of the stove to attend to. Okay, well, I'm actually going to save this water that I boiled my food in for later. That way I can use it to wash my face. I don't know if that's gross. Don't tell anyone, but I don't know. Why not? I don't want to waste water. And God, there's just nothing feels better than a nice, hot, steamy washcloth on your face. Even in the middle of nowhere. Okay, now on to one of the other inconveniences about the stove. You can't just turn it off like you would a regular camp stove. You know what I mean? There's like hot ashes and, well, there's still burning embers in there. So the stove has to cool down all together before you can pack it away. And, well, you know, I wouldn't want to pull over to the side of the road and make a quick cup of coffee with this thing, if you know what I mean. Fortunately, you know, I'm camping here all night, so I'll wait till the embers cool down enough to dump them out, and then I'll just let the stove sit there overnight. And, well, it'll be cold in the morning. And I think this fan shuts off automatically when the stove cools down, but you can see it is charging the battery bank, although it's pretty dang low. Like I said, I've only used the stove 3 times. I suppose if I used it like all the time, I'd get it eventually charged to the top, but anyway, that's about all there is to this little Biolite. So, I don't know, I guess to recap, the pros are you never need to buy camp fuel or worry about running out of camp fuel. You can pretty much burn anything in it and boil a pot of water pretty quickly. The cons are, well, it's messy, it takes a little bit of tending, and, well, it's kind of time consuming because you can't just pack it up and go. But gosh, on balance, I'd say that for car camping like this, it's primo. Backpacking, well, I suppose an argument could be made that it'd be good for backpacking because that way you don't have to carry fuel canisters with you. So, I mean, I have read online where some backpackers do use these things and they really like them. I don't know, man. I'm lazy. But, I suppose I might give it a try. Another thing, it's kind of heavy for backpacking. That battery bank actually weighs a bit. But, too, if you're backpacking, then you would need something to charge your cell phone and stuff. So, I suppose it would come in handy. Oh, I forgot to show you the light, why it's called a Biolite. It came with this little LED light that plugs into it. And I think that actually the part of the proceeds from this thing goes to providing these stoves to people in third world countries who don't have reliable power so that they can have lights in their homes. So this thing just plugs right into that USB port that I was showing you guys earlier. And check it out. You got a bright LED light that will light up, well, in my case, the interior of my car. I think that actually is pretty dang cool. Well, I don't need to use the light now because it's not dark yet. So let me unplug that. That's actually, I guess, a pretty big pro too. If you were backpacking, wouldn't have to worry about bringing a lantern because you could just use this little guy. And this thing weighs next to nothing. Alrighty, so while my stove is cooling down, I am going to take my dinner and have a seat over here in my little deck chair that I got out and watch the sunset and have a bite. Cheers. Yummy.